how what we have done has changed lives, saved lives, and kept people alive. And how we've always been on the forefront of innovation and invention. If you look at that, Pittsburgh, and the rest of my fellow Americans, then you will see how important it is when I tell you, yes, the chips are down, to use a silly term, but a phrase. Yes, America, the chips are down. But that don't mean we can't sweep them up, get a new set of chips. Hey, we're Americans, we're Pittsburghers. And I don't know about you, but I know that when I have an obstacle, I find a way to overcome it. And with that, it's time for the one and only Chris Weiss.
Thanks, Al. One thing before I get started, I wanted to wish a get well greeting to Congressman Tim Murphy, who had tragically, and he's hospitalized. I don't know what hospital he's in. I hope he gets well soon. With that, I continue to my piece is people that live below poverty, which is they get a supplement income, and recently their monthly checks were cut by $5.30. You probably say, well, wow, what's $5.30? But bottom line is that $5.30 adds up. And the reason why it was cut is because the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania legislators fail to include in their budget to support the SSI recipients, the aid. So they're, to make up the difference, they took $5.30 a month from people that are on SSI. And so I just want to let you know, so you need to call your state senators and tell them to stop doing that, and it went into effect yesterday, which was February 1st. So with them cutting $5.30 from folks, which would affect approximately about 10,000 people or so. And anyway, what it boils down to is they said it would save the state $29 million. And what's $29 million when we have like a huge deficit? Solution to the problem. What can we do? We can do a statewide mandated recycling. And when I'm talking about recycling, I'm not talking about just aluminum cans, plastic bottles, or paper. I'm talking about everything. Recycle it all. And just by aluminum cans alone. I ain't talking about glass, plastics, but just on these figures. An example. If we would recycle in 1 year's time 500 tons of aluminum cans at a going rate of 38 cents a pound, you know, it's probably more than that now, but just for use as a ballpark figure, 38 cents a pound. To give you an idea, 500 tons and 38 cents a pound, it would bring $418 million into the state budget. And again, that's not counting glass, paper, plastic, cardboard, but just aluminum cans. We need to do a statewide mandated recycling. And not only would it bring more money into the budget, but also it would create jobs, and then it would put people into the tax bracket. So it would be another form of money bringing into the state. So when people, when they're having government debates in the coming weeks, you know, when you're arranging those, League of Women Voters and whoever, mention it. Do you want statewide mandated recycling and recycle all the materials that I've mentioned? And that would be plastic, glass, food container cans, paper, cardboard, plastics, and aluminum cans, and also food container cans. Recycle it all. and it would create jobs, and it would bring money into the state. So I'm going to send it back to Al.
All right. Well, Chris, your ideas are good, but I need you to relate to the audience why you spoke about that on this show. How is it something that will inspire our fellow Pittsburghers, our fellow Pennsylvanians, and our fellow Americans? How specifically, what did you say, will it inspire our fellow Americans?
If we would have a statewide mandated recycling, it would keep people, would be able to have more people working, and you know, we have too many people living below poverty.
Below poverty, right.
Yeah, so.
So you feel that that's inspirational in that it would help to get people back to work, and a new segment of society would be able to actually get to work, and it would make them feel more inspired and probably higher self-esteem?
It would do that, but also I am tired of the state of Pennsylvania legislators using it as a cop-out of raising the tobacco tax, raising the alcohol tax, and especially the fuel tax. They use that as a source of income, and I just figured just a cop-out just so they can get money and just keep raising those taxes. And when they're raising those taxes, especially fuel, it makes other prices go up. So you need to look at other source of ways to get money in, and that would be a statewide mandated recycling program.
All right. Well, one other way I would say that it's inspiring is we look at recycling, and the fact of the matter is if we recycle stuff, there's a lot of, if we recycle these recycling materials, there are a lot of new items that we can actually create from recycled materials, and that actually saves on landfills and our natural resources, reduces trees and other natural resources. So that's another way to be inspired. But now I'm actually going to get to what I think may inspire you as soon as I can find my paperwork. Hey, you know, I hate reading because of my stigmatism, but you know, hey, I don't hate reading. I hate reading on camera. I want to clarify that. Now, I'm sure everybody in here over the age of 10 knows who actor, comedian, and Muscular Dystrophy Association telethon host Jerry Lewis is. Most of us know who Jerry Lewis is. Do you know who Jerry Lewis is?
Yes, I do.
Do you know who Jerry Lewis is? Chris, do you know who Jerry Lewis is?
Yeah, I know Jerry Lewis.
All right. Most people think of Jerry Lewis as a comedian, as a movie star, as the host of the NDA telethon. But amidst Pittsburghers, remember how I said we're going to inspire each other today? Well, I'm going to tell you something about Jerry Lewis you may not know. Now, I'm going to have to do some reading here, so you have to bear with me. But guess what? We're going to talk about Jerry Lewis. That's right, Jerry Lewis is coming to town. A lot of film fans don't realize that Jerry Lewis was equally adept behind the camera as in front of it. For his films in the late 50s, he wanted to effectively direct himself in the picture, but was held back by the 24 hours it took to develop the day's film. They're called dailies or rushes. I've been in the movie business. Every time when you do a film, quick side note, when you do a film, say like the ones that are being made in Pittsburgh, every day they look through the rushes or what they filmed for that previous day. Well, up until what Jerry Lewis did, it took 24 hours to see the dailies. You couldn't see it tonight. You had to wait till the film was developed. So Jerry Lewis wanted to direct himself. And he couldn't necessarily be spontaneous the next day. So he used his brain. That's right, Jerry Lewis, the genius, used his brain. So what did he do? Well, it's hard to be spontaneous. Okay. Basically, what he did was he created a way to have a video camera mounted with the film camera, and it is basically shot at the same time, and it's called the video assist.